Welcome, everybody, to the Investing in Real Estate show. And, on this show, we teach you how to live financially free. That is the goal, to live the life that you want now and not worry about retirement later, like the idea of living so that you can just retire, working every day till you're 65 years old, and then you can start living your life. No, the opposite is what we try to teach you here on the show, is to live the life that you want now, building up your nest egg and your net worth using real estate and smart investing so that you can live the life that you want and travel right now. The catalyst for this episode, and I want to kind of kick off this year in 2024 talking about that. We just got back from a trip. We were gone for about 2 weeks, and we were skiing, and we just spent a lot of time with the family. We took time off, of course, during the holidays, but then even after that, when other people were going back to work, we said, no, we work for ourselves. When we've decided to carve out and live the life that we want for ourselves, using real estate investing as the catalyst, as the thing that allows us to have that freedom in our lives. And it was a thing, of course, that we set about to do a number of years ago. Well over 15 years ago now, when we really set about to stop working for somebody else and use real estate as a way to provide our freedom number. And if you haven't downloaded our freedom cheat sheet, I encourage you to go and do that. Just go to morrisinvest.com/freedom. It's totally free. It's like 3 pages long, and it could change your life. And anyway, go through the worksheet, because while we were on this trip, someone came up to me and said, we were just chatting with a family near our table, and we asked them how long they were going to be there, and they said, we got to go back. I have to go back to work. And they said, what about you? And I said, we're going to be here for like the rest of the week. And they're like, oh, wow, that's nice. He said something like, oh, that's nice that your work gave you the time off. And I didn't say anything about it. But I, of course, looked at my wife and just kind of smiled and thought, yeah, my work gave me my time off. My own boss, me, the boss of me, gave me my own time off, because as a real estate investor, I don't answer to a boss. A number of years ago, I lost my job. They didn't renew my contract, and I was devastated. I thought, oh my God, my life is over. And I vowed then that I would never let that happen again. And using the power of real estate investing to buy assets that add to my net worth, that then, of course, I'm going to use that cash flow later on. But right now I've built up my net worth that I can use those assets to borrow against and buy additional assets, and then grow and live off of that income, grow and live off of these assets, running my business and so forth, and living the life that I want. And, I thought about this a lot recently over the holidays, and I thought about the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss's book, which is pretty old now, but one of the things that he talked about in that book, this anecdote that really stuck out to me, was the idea of the person who works his whole life so that he can retire and live the life that he wants. So now he's worked 65 years and he retires at 65, and now his knees don't work. So he wanted to go hike these mountains. He wanted to go Mount Kilimanjaro and all this stuff. Now he can't really do that anymore because he's too old. And he's only got a few years left now. And he has a heart attack when he was like 73 years old. Like, that was one of the anecdotes, I think, in the book. And that really stood out to me. Like, this person works his whole life for somebody else, and he's going to live off a pile of cash at the end of that line. And it just really, really upset me. It really stuck with me. And the idea is, of course, we should be living the life that we want today. If you're 35, if you're 42, I just turned 47 on December 31st, so I'm 47 years old now. But I made a determination in my mid-30s that I was not going to just rely on working for somebody else. I was going to acquire assets that allowed me to travel, allowed me to enjoy my family, allowed me the freedom and space to do whatever I want and not be answerable to anyone except myself and my family. And so when this person said to me, that's nice that your company or your boss or whatever gave you the additional time off, I thought, yeah, it is. But it's been intentional. It's because I really put the time, attention, and effort into building up my freedom number. So I really encourage you in 2024 to think about your freedom number and how can you get there? How can you add those those assets to your net worth? So, you get 1 or 2 or 3 rental properties in this calendar year, and then you use those to borrow against them to buy additional assets. Worrying about the cash flow later. Yes, they'll cash flow now because they're rented with tenants in them, but how can you live off of these assets now intentionally so that the cash flow comes later and you're building up your net worth to live the life that you want? So you're providing that safety net for you and your family that really accelerates your timetable. I know a lot of people that can get there in about 5 years. Many of our clients have gotten there in about 5 years when they really focus on it. You'll be stunned at how quickly you can get there because you get that first asset. Then, of course, you can borrow against that first asset and you're rolling it into the second one. And before you know it, you're at 7 rental properties, right? And then you're already on your way to financial freedom. So just download the Freedom Cheat Sheet. Again, it's totally free. Go to our website, morrisinvest.com/freedom. Download it. Go through it. It's only 3 pages long. Sit down with your spouse, your partner, whatever, and figure out what your freedom number is. I wanted to sort of set the tone for 2024 because to me, this year is all about what I really want you to do is financial independence. That is the goal for 2024. Financial independence, financial freedom. Retire early, okay? Financial independence, retire early. The FIRE acronym. That's what I want to focus on in 2024. Stop being beholden to other people. Allow yourself to carve out your own path and your own destiny. And that's our message for 2024. I'm really excited about it. I want to empower as many people as I can in this year, not having to give in to the whims of the stock market. The last week we saw some volatility in the stock market with CPI numbers, and what does all that mean? Who cares? As long as you have assets, you have a plan, it doesn't matter what the stock market is doing. It doesn't matter what Jerome Powell is doing. It matters what you're doing. So let's really focus on that in 2024 to build financial independence. All right, that's our mission. So let's stick with it. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Lear Capital because Natalie and I are big investors in precious metals. Yes, we invest in real estate, but a big portion of our portfolio are in precious metals, gold and silver, because of what's happening to the US dollar. It's no secret. If you're tuned in, then you need to know that experts are predicting a big recession headed our way. One economist just said, this is the beginning of the end for the US dollar. So if your savings accounts are tied to the US dollar, look out, folks. Please, please protect yourselves. And we are devaluing the US dollar faster than ever before. And last year was terrible for most investors, but 2023, 2024 could even be worse unless you're smart and you have a portion of your assets in precious metals, other hard assets like gold, silver, and real estate. And that way you can protect your financial future as these other investments start to collapse all around other people. So if you want to invest in gold, our friends at Lear Capital can get you set up and start purchasing precious metals right now, or even converting part of your IRA or your 401k into a gold and silver IRA. It's very, very simple to do. And you can call them. They love talking to people on the phone, so you can see if it's a fit for you. Give them a call today at 1-800-450-1008. There's the number on your screen. We've also set up a special website just for you as well. You can get your free gold and silver investor guide by going to learmorris.com. That's LearMorris.com. And right now, if you call and work with them, they'll get you set up with $15,000 in free bonus metals. That's right, $15,000 in free bonus metals with a qualified purchase. Again, call their 800 number today, 1-800-450-1008. And you can buy gold bars, gold coins sent right to your home, silver coins, silver bars sent right to your home, or held in storage off-site. They will talk you through that entire process. Again, give them a call today, 1-800-450-1008. Now, today we've got 3 great questions from our audience. You can always leave us a voicemail question by going to our website. Go to morrisinvest.com. There's a microphone icon on the right side of your screen. Just click that and leave us a 30-second voicemail question. Okay, our first question today. Let's listen.
Hi, Clayton. This is John. I have a paid-off home, but the insurance rates here to insure the house is outrageous. I was thinking of doing a self-insurance. I want to know your thoughts on that. Maybe in the future, I'd like to do a HELOC until I get my credit score better. Right now, it's in the low 600s. I'd like to know your thoughts on self-insuring a property, and will that affect my chances of getting a HELOC in the future? Thanks a lot, Clayton.
Hey, thanks for the really interesting question. We've never had a question about self-insurance before on the show. So a couple of things to unpack here. Number one, if you own a home that's self-insured, meaning you're paying for the insurance on the home, you might not even, you really don't even have like an insurance plan on the home, right? I mean, you don't have there's not like an actual plan. It's just you, right? So if there's a fire and the house burns down, you're going to come out of pocket and pay for it. You have the house that's paid off. Now, you didn't quite say if it's a rental property. I think it's the home you live in. So if something happens to the home, if there's flooding or if there's a fire, the house gets struck by lightning. I remember growing up, there was a house about 4 doors down from us that got struck by lightning. The lightning came down the chimney, went like literally down the chimney and scorched the living room, and it caught the carpet on fire and the house burned down. I remember the sirens in the middle of the night. We couldn't believe it during this thunderstorm. It was like 4 doors down from us. It could have happened to anybody. Now imagine if they didn't have insurance on the house. And imagine if they had self-insurance, right? Then they would have had to come out of pocket to rebuild the house. And they did. The house got rebuilt totally from the ground up. They built a brand new house on that spot. The family moved, I think, actually. But anyway, my point is, that you're going to come out of pocket $200,000, $300,000 for the replacement cost of that house. I just self-insurance, in my opinion, my personal opinion, is a terrible plan because you're just asking for a problem. You're asking for you're asking for a problem where you're going to have to come out of pocket. Now, let me answer this part of it. If you want to go get a mortgage, if you want to get a HELOC on that house, the bank will never give you a home equity line of credit on that house if it's uninsured, if the house is uninsured, okay? And you've got self-insurance, no. Now, even if you go and get insurance a day before you apply for the HELOC, that's fine. You can go and get home insurance in 5 minutes on the internet. It takes no time at all. So it's not like you have to have a track record of 12 years of paying insurance. They don't care. What they care about is that the house is now insured with a proper insurance company, not you. So I'm not a big fan of self-insurance unless you're fine, you're kind of sitting pretty and you don't really care about it. But again, you never know when tragedy could strike, right? So that's what you're insuring against, tragedy. You don't know. Little things like a water heater breaking, that's one thing. But a fire, earthquake, flood insurance, who knows, right? So I wouldn't play with that. That scares me. And the other thing is you're worried about your credit score. So remember, there are banks out there that don't give a rat's behind about your credit score, and you can work with private lenders so that you can get credit against this home. You've got an asset that's paid off. So don't let a credit score inhibit your ability to borrow against it and invest in real estate. So go out there and be a dog with a bone and find a bank or a private lender that will lend against that asset to allow you to buy additional properties, in my opinion. Again, don't let a credit score bother you. And there are plenty of ways to really transform and increase your credit score, 40, 50 points overnight. So, look into some of those programs. We'll have a link in the description below, or we'll mention the name of the company in the description of this podcast. That we've used in the past, and a lot of our clients have used them. They're not a sponsor or anything like that, but they've been able to help people transform their credit tremendously in the past. So check that out. All right, our next question.
Hi, Clayton. My name is Mike. I live in Idaho. I'm a small home builder, and I'm building homes, mostly single-family residence, for speculation and possibly even held for rent for myself. My question is, I know the rules are pretty specific on the self-directed IRA. Being that I'm my own builder, it looks like that there's not a way to use the self-directed IRA for me to pay subs, etc., since I'm the home builder. Any thoughts on that? Thank you.
All right. So you're using a self-directed IRA as an investor to pay subcontractors using the self-directed account. I would need to know the specifics of it, but to me, well, That's a good question. I don't believe there's any restriction on you using the self-directed IRA for that purpose. You're using it as a bit. It's not, the rules, of course, against self-direction are that those individuals that are in your family, your brother-in-law, your sister, like your immediate family, and of course, you can't use it for your own, like living in the property. You can't, build to live in it. But to me, there should be no reason. To me, it's just the expeditious portion of it, like because you're not able. You have to reach out to your self-direction company to make their paychecks and to pay the subcontractors and all of that. But I know a lot of investors that will buy investment properties, of course, inside of their self-directed account. But any improvements on any improvements on the property need to be handled by the subcontractors. The other big piece of this, again, this is why you want to talk to a self-direction expert on this. The other big piece of this is that, under self-direction rules, you're not allowed to do any of the work yourself. So you're the builder. So that means then really you can drive by the houses and look at them. But if you're the builder, then you're really up against a wall with that, because you're in violation then of the law if you're actively involved in the construction. So if you've got subcontractors that are handling it and you've hired them to do certain work, that's one thing. But you're not really able to drive the day-to-day operations of these jobs under the law of the self-direction account. So again, you got an investment property, it needs new drywall, it needs a new roof. You hire the subcontractor that does the drywall, does the roof, great. But now if you're overseeing the project and you're the foreman, that's where you can really get into some trouble. So what I would recommend giving a call to our team. We can jump on the phone with you and help you out with this. We've got a great self-direction team, so they can answer some of the nuances of your question. So if you go to morrisinvest.com and just book a free 30-minute call with our team. But we've got a self-direction team that is fantastic. Okay, they can help you with this and they can answer those questions, because then they can get into the nuances of how do you intend to work on these projects. Like, are you going to be totally hands-off? Then it could work. And then we can get into some discussions about the LLC structure and how you're subcontracting these out to these different individuals. It gets really, as you can tell, it gets very hairy. Again, you can't be involved in the project, I guess is what I'm saying. So I need to know the nuances of how you'd be involved in the project under the law for this to work. I'm sure there's a way to make it work as long as you're above the law and not doing anything illegal. So again, book a call with our team and we can probably help you on that question. The other thing is that you're having then to reach out to your custodian to make payments to those contractors. So it's not as easy as like a direct deposit kind of a situation. You're having to reach out to the custodian that has to cut the check, and you can't touch any of that money and all of that. So it just gets a little hairy, a little dicey, but it can be done, I think. We have to know the nuances of it. Really interesting question, though. Here's our next question.
Hi, this is Amir from Canada. So just have a question that what are the options for Canadian citizens to invest in the in states, and how the mortgage works and everything?
All right, so how can Canadians invest in the United States? I think we had a question a few weeks ago here on the show about that as a Canadian investor is looking to invest in the United States. Yes, it can be done. You have to, of course, set up an American bank account, and you'll have to talk with your Canadian accountant about that. And of course, and making sure that you're also working with the United States accountant, so that transfer taxes and all of that. So because we have a tax treaty with Canada, so you're not being double taxed. But yes, you'd have to set up a bank account in the United States and an entity in the United States. It can be done. It's not that difficult. We've had a lot of clients do it. There are a few extra hoops and hurdles that you need to employ to make that happen. So again, it can be done. It just depends on how tenacious you are. And talk with your Canadian accountant about it. But also I would definitely talk to an accountant in the United States about setting that up, because you're going to want to be able to have those two entities talking to each other across country. That way you're not paying double taxes. We have a tax treaty. So I would definitely talk to the folks over at Corporate Direct. They're good friends of our show. That's, of course, Garrett Sutton's. He's a lawyer. That's his team. They're a Rich Dad Company. They're a legal team that can help you with this. And so I would just give them a call at corporatedirect.com. Tell them I sent you and just have a conversation with them about how to do that as a Canadian citizen, investing in the United States, setting up an LLC, getting your business bank account set up. Because again, your American account is going to receive the rent from those tenants. So then how do you keep that money in the United States? Or do you transfer it to Canada? And then, of course, you don't want to be double taxed on that transfer and all of that. So these are questions you need to talk with a legal team about how you're going to structure it, because there are a couple of different ways to structure it. So thanks so much for the great questions. If you would like to ask us a question, go to our website, go to morrisinvest.com, click on the microphone icon there and leave us a voicemail question. Also, while you're there, if you're interested in investing in real estate, that's what our team does. We just released a whole batch of brand new construction properties that are really in the affordable home space in West Texas right now. And they are cash flowing with tenants already in place, stabilized, rent stabilized with tenants already ready to go. So if you're interested in that as well, and we've got financing built into all of those properties, book a call with our team today. Just go to morrisinvest.com, click on the book a call button. A little calendar will pop up there on the screen. Just got to put in your phone number and let us know the date and time you want us to call. And one of our team members will give you a call and can go through our program and see if it's a fit for all of us. So again, that's Morris, MORRIS, invest.com. So thanks so much, guys. I want you to go out there this year in 2024, take action, become a real estate investor. I believe it's the number one way to build wealth. We'll see you next time.